This is a problem that probably anybody with a smartphone has, and that is a dopamine overload. Constant dopamine 24/7. And dopamine is essentially just that feel-good chemical in your brain. And you might have heard of a dopamine detox before. Now you're probably thinking, Elijah, I'm healthy, I work out, I get sleep, I don't need this dopamine detox, I have a good balance on life. Here's the thing, I actually thought I did too. In fact, I had a little bit too much of an ego with thinking I had things under control until I considered a few things. I actually sat down and thought about the few things going on. And so I'm going to give a little bit of my experience with this. This probably relates to some of you out there, but in different ways. So I want you to think as I talk, how does this relate to my situation? Maybe it is a slightly different scenario. Maybe it is a slightly different environment. Start thinking about that as you're listening. There'd be certain times during the day, during the night, where I would just get randomly super down on myself, super stressed, super anxious for almost no reason. Everything would be going good. Business was booming. My social life was solid. Family was healthy. I was healthy. I'm lifting. I'm hitting some PRs, some records in my lifts. My body is looking better. What else could possibly be wrong? And that's the problem. Why am I stressing when there is nothing to be stressing about? When I zoom out, everything is actually good. So what's the actual issue here? I would also be severely underslept at night. My brain would be racing like insanely fast. Like I would have so many thoughts cycle through my head within 10 minutes that I thought it was like an hour later. And then if I go to check my phone, I'm like, that was only 10 minutes. Like what the heck is going on? Kind of like when you have that really long, vivid dream and you wake up like 30 minutes later and you're like, I thought that was the entire night. That's how it would feel when I was trying to actually sleep at night, every single night. And I didn't really understand that because I'm literally a fitness coach. I understand all the tips, all the hacks, all the tricks, all the science behind getting a better night of sleep. And I was performing what I thought was all of those things to a perfect extent. I'm like, what is possibly going on right now to where I can't actually get a solid night of sleep and I'm considered a healthy person? Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So what I realized is I think I was getting too many hits of dopamine, so many hits during the day in different ways that my brain would not stop itself. So by the time it was actually time to go to bed, there was nothing that was allowing me to go to bed. And I'll give you some examples. I listen to YouTube every single day, most of it being educational, some of it being a little more entertaining, depending on what's going on. Some podcasts. I have YouTube Premium, so I don't have ads on any of my videos. There's nothing to break up or pattern interrupt what I am doing. And I'm not sure if regular YouTube can do this or not, but you can go up to 4 times speed on the speed of your videos with YouTube Premium. So what I would typically do for multiple years, I have listened to almost every single video in either 1.5 all the way up to 3.0 speed. Most of the time it's a little bit above like 2.15 speed, something like that. That's still a pretty rapid rate of consuming videos, listening to information, hearing people talk that fast, to where I would hear so much of that in my earbuds or from my computer or from my phone that in my head I would talk to myself at that rate and that speed, and I would actually start communicating with my clients. Even right now, I'm actually struggling to keep my words a little bit slower and try to actually articulate them instead of just speed running this whole video, essentially. And my theory of speed running a bunch of educational content and stuff that I can learn from was, hey, every 30 minutes of watching, I probably get 1 or 2 really good golden nuggets and probably like 5 or 6 smaller details in there that I can actually apply and learn and is stored in the back of my head. When you do that over the course of sometimes 12 hours worth of content a day, remember, these are sped up, and you do that over the course of multiple years on end, yeah, there's a lot of information that I was able to learn super fast, and then I would actually start to be able to implement those as well on top of it. And this actually started while I was in college. I would actually listen to YouTube videos because I was online for a portion of college during the pandemic and whatnot. So I was like, okay, well, I could just listen to stuff while I'm doing my homework. And I started at 1.5 speed, and then eventually picked up to 2.0 speed, and then above 2.0 speed. And you see how that kind of gets into a cycle of retain, dopamine, learn, feel good, that sort of thing. Even sometimes I would listen to these videos while I am working, like with like doing just like programming for my clients and whatnot. So I'm actually thinking of what I'm doing for my clients, and in the background I'm listening to noise, whether I'm actually actively listening or not. That is still some sort of stimulus going super fast through my head while I'm trying to focus on something else, like I'm trying to multitask. And sometimes that might actually drag out some of the tasks I was doing for my clients unnecessarily. Not to mention, I actually have this little JBL speaker, and I would set it on this counter in the restroom, and while I am showering, I am listening to videos in multiple speed, like in fast speed as well. So there's literally my whole entire day while I'm driving, while I'm in the restroom, while I'm showering, no matter where I'm at, I'm listening to videos constantly, super fast, switching video, like the videos on a huge watch later playlist. So I'm getting this constant hit of, hey, I'm learning, I'm progressing, I'm bettering myself. And that's kind of what I thought for a while. And what this does is it doesn't give you enough time to actually sit with those thoughts and think through what you actually learn. Hey, how can I actually apply this to my life? Instead, it's just information, no application. Even though I thought I was actually applying a lot of it. And I tried to actually apply a lot of it. I think I did to some extent, but not as potent as I could be with it. Another thing that I would do with these constant dopamine hits, I like to play some strategic games on the phone. I'm not gonna lie. I don't really sit down and play console games because that's just something I know I have to allocate a period of time to. Like, I am planning to play video games, and for some reason I really don't like that, even though I might spend the same amount playing a phone game. The idea with these phone games, it's a strategic phone game. There's one in particular that I've been playing for about a decade now, I'm gonna be honest. And in fact, I was the number 2 player in the world at one point on this mobile game in the division I was in. And even now today, because I've been playing for 10 years, I'm in the top 1% of people, just because I have a really good understanding of how the game works because I've been playing it for a decade. And I would use this phone game as a way of taking breaks in between classwork, in between actual work, in between my online coaching job. I would use this as little breaks in between. And the thing is, I'm not getting an actual break because in the game, you have to be strategic with things. There's some things that, yeah, I could automatically go in, muscle memory, whatever. But then there's other things, hey, I'm really thinking about this. It's like, it's a Star Wars thing. It's like Star Wars chess almost. Like, I have this roster, they have this roster. How can I set a defense that trips them up but have enough on offense to like, it's super nerdy. Honestly, it sounds like some loser activity, but long story short, my brain is still getting stimulated from that. I'm not taking an actual break from the work, from whatever. I am literally going straight from dopamine to dopamine, and I'm not letting myself sit or get bored at all, ever. And I think the most ridiculous thing that I realized I was just getting these constant dopamine hits was I would do these busy tasks to help when I started my business, to start getting a lot of back end stuff together and start imagining and crunching numbers and doing all these certain things that it's like, dang, dude, you really could have spent 30 minutes and knocked that out. Sometimes I would spend an entire day doing stuff like that, just figuring out, learning, thinking I am being strategic with something, when in reality it's like, no, you just need to start posting like a video a day or something. Start posting on Instagram once a day, dude. Because you're not at a level of which you need to strategize X, Y, and Z when you don't even have A, B, and C in place. And I would get a lot of stimulation from this, and I would get a lot of satisfaction from the idea of just being able to sit and plan for 4 hours without taking any action. I think that's the most ridiculous thing of all of these, even dumber than the phone game. So I really just had to stop imagining doing all the work and then actually do the work. Kind of crazy, but that applies to fitness as well. So with all these dopamine hits, this might come in a different form for each and every one of you. Some of you, it might be watching inappropriate things. Others, it might be partying. Some of you might be workaholics. So it might come in different ways to each of you, especially depending on your age and whatnot. So now the actual strategy is, how can you dopamine detox from all this stuff without going cold turkey, David Goggins style, right? Because everyone always wants to go all or nothing, cold turkey, and then all of a sudden they get right back into it the next week or the next month or 6 months from now, and then they gain all their weight back, or they're not never hitting the gym again or whatever. So you want something that's actually applicable to you, that you can not just get your detox from, but you can also actually continue to progress and grow from it. And this applies to fitness as well. whether it's with diet, whether it's with sleep, whether it's with working out. There's always a way and a strategy of going about this so you can actually see the result and stick with the result, because that's what actually matters, is sticking with it, right? So this is what I'm doing personally. Obviously, it's going to be very different for each and every one of you. So instead of just constantly getting hits from mobile games, what I actually did, I used to play Pokemon a lot growing up. You guys are probably like, dude, you're such a freaking nerd. Yeah, I honestly am. I used to play Pokemon a lot growing up. What I actually, my birthday was about a month ago. My girlfriend ended up getting me the newest Pokemon game that came out. That is on a console, by the way. So with this, I thought this would actually be a good strategy. I am still getting a hit from playing some sort of game, some sort of mental simulation. But the thing is, that game is slowed down. I have to progress through a storyline. I have to watch the text on the screen and pay attention to what is going on. I can't just rapidly go through, spam A button the whole time, and then go from there. I have to watch the text. I have to understand the story. It's a pretty open world game too, so I am able to go around, explore a little bit. I'm not directly on one exact path the whole time with limited options. I have a little bit more freedom in that game. Meaning, I am not racing my brain nearly as fast. I think this is a really great way to actually wind down the brain at night. Kind of like sometimes you'll doom scroll at night just to relax your brain a little bit, go to sleep if you have that control. Similar thing goes for that. Another thing I've been doing is I've actually been reading books. That sounds like such a loser. Oh, it sounds like such a nerdy thing as well. But reading books, honestly, I used to just audiobook everything because, I just listen to stuff in 2x speed. And I realized there's a different kind of art to reading. And guys, I'm going to be so honest. I probably read at the speed of like a 7th grader. Like, I'm not even going to lie. My whole entire life, I have read super slow. Even though I've been reading way more consistently now, I am still considered a slow reader. Like when my girlfriend and I are reading the captions on a screen, sometimes I like on a subtitles on a show or something, sometimes I'll literally be like, hey, pause, what did that say? What did that say? Like, that's pretty rough. And like, obviously I don't try to be a faster reader anyways, but it's still something that like, hey, I am at a lower level than probably the average person with that. And I'm still trying to put in that effort to actually do it. There's a certain amount of relaxation that comes with it. Not to mention, I actually been alternating between like fictional books and non-fictional books. So in these fictional books, this is a way that I can start to chill out a bit. Kind of, it's like playing a movie in your head, right? It's a little bit more detailed. You get to imagine. You have to use your brain more. It's not just giving you straight to you as a visual immediately. You have to think about it a little bit. So I get to imagine that a little bit. I've been reading Star Wars books. Go figure, right? So I read the Star Wars books. I'm like, dang, this is like a full-on movie in my head. I like to imagine these characters, this situation. And then I would switch off to a non-fictional book. So something that maybe it is a philosophy book, something I can learn about, apply, think about. Or maybe it's a fitness book where I'm still learning and I'm getting the fitness philosophy side of things. A bunch of different ways you can go about this. It really just depends on what your interest is, but I highly, highly recommend reading. It is a phenomenal way to actually put down the phone and not have that blue light constantly in your eyes, especially right before you go to sleep. Another thing I've been trying, I've been limiting the speed and the quantity of videos that I'm consuming within a shorter period of time. So I might be, instead of watching 10 videos in the span of an hour, maybe I'm actually just watching 5 of those videos. And maybe instead of listening to 2x speed, I'm cutting it down to 1.25 or 1.5 speed. Now, is that perfect? Is that great? Yeah, no, probably not. I should probably just cut down to like 2 videos and then watch at 1x speed. But baby steps here. And you have to be realistic with it too. Because if I just go hardcore right off the bat, chances are a month later, I'm probably just going to fall right back into the same habit. And most of you guys will too. Whether that's going on walks, whether that's eating right, whether that's cutting out alcohol, whether that is watching inappropriate stuff online, any of that. It's kind of like that one friend that they'll be extremely overweight and then they'll starve themselves down to 160 pounds. And then everyone will be like, wow, you lost a bunch of weight. You look great. And they're like, yeah, they probably don't regret that. Like, yeah, that helped. And they probably honestly don't even regret it. But the result is the result. And now it's like, hey, that was not the smartest way to go about this. I should probably take a smarter and healthier approach. That's how it felt. And I think one thing too is that we get really distracted by a lot of the apps and a lot of the stuff on our phone. I was actually in, if you guys know what Discord is, it's basically like you have a couple different channels, and there's channels within channels. So I signed up with some coaching, and so I have coaches actually helping me with a few other things. And so I actually made a whole new Discord account, meaning my old Discord account with all my nerdy stuff and all my fitness and all this stuff that I was in, that I would just go in there and just check just for sake of conversating with people, like almost like time wasters. It's like a socializing thing, but it's also like, well, like you don't need to be doing that right now. Those are all things that by me being able to log out of that and then log into this new thing, it allows me to kind of reset a little bit. And now I have to focus on being logged in to this Discord where I am actually learning and applying stuff instead of just having fun all the time. Different strategy, but still works nonetheless. As far as a wind down goes at night, instead of watching and listening to so many educational videos where I'm thinking, okay, how can I apply this? How can I learn? I started listening to a little bit more entertainment based, and maybe for you, it might have to be the inverse where you listen to too much entertainment based and maybe you have to learn a little bit at night. So I'll watch some Star Wars videos, some Pokemon videos, some fantasy football videos, something that I know, like, hey, I just enjoy this and I can chill with this. Slow the video down, enjoy. Sometimes I might even doom scroll a little bit. My brother, my girlfriend, my friends send me memes on Instagram. Sometimes I literally just scroll through the text thread and just watch all the memes. Make me laugh a little. Funny stuff kind of takes your brain off of other things, right? And laughter is the best medicine, So if I'm having a rough day, hey, let me laugh a little bit before I fall asleep. Relaxes the brain, relaxes some of that anxiousness. Phenomenal strategy. I've also been reading, and then reading those books as well. Whether it's a Star Wars book, whether it is a nonfiction book, especially the Bible recently. Like, whether you're religious or not, there's just a lot of good philosophy and ideas and thoughts that are in there that you're like, hey, I could actually apply this to my life. And that's something that can be very relaxing, especially if you're a person of faith. It's like, oh, wow, this is like even more comforting just knowing this and reading this and going through this. Yeah, but long story short, let your brain slow down. Let yourself think a little bit. This is going to sound weird. I haven't been bored in like 2 years. Let yourself be bored sometimes. And that way you can actually start getting creative a little bit and start using your imagination a little bit. And then that might help you in other aspects of your life. Like I said, this is a different kind of dopamine detox. This is a very odd version of a dopamine detox, but I think a lot of you out there can actually apply some of these and many of these to whatever you might be dealing with personally. It just might be an adjacent situation. If any of this resonated with you, or if you have found value in this video, it'd be a huge help if you actually drop just a quick like on the video. This will help grow the channel over time, get a little bit of engagement going, and then I could keep pumping out more videos for you guys. Until next time, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.